Hey friends, how are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing so well, and welcome to my garage, which I am focusing on tackling today. I'm getting myself a little, hyped up for this. This is something that I love. I love organizing. I love, taking something that's really crazy and breaking it down and making it dealable. And so I've been just like biting at the bit, wanting to tackle our garage, because if you guys have been around here for a few months, then you'll know we just moved from Maryland back home to Indiana. We bought a house, and I went from having all of my business in our basement and then in a storage unit to now being in my garage. And so I'm really working on trying to make this space work for us. But also, since we just moved, literally everything in the world is in the garage, it feels like right now. And so I've got to get through this. I've got to get it organized. It's been a lot. And so that's what we're tackling today. I'm going to work in my garage, and you guys are going to get to watch the process as it becomes more and more usable space while we talk about some fun things as well. So here we switched angles. Whoa, look at the angle change. But I have a passion for interior design as well as for thrifting, and so you'll see random pieces of home goods just kind of scattered around in my garage. So I'm trying to think of a way to also start some sort of interior design or interior decorating, some sort of home goods reselling, some kind of vision is what I'm working on currently. In addition to all my reselling ventures and also the YouTube and all of this stuff, and so anyways, I just moved some of those things away, but I've also got my whatnot pile. I'm going to start up here on an actual bin. I'm actually going to start up here on an actual shelf since I've been doing a lot of reselling on whatnot and I've been enjoying it. So I'm trying to organize my life a little bit more, and I'm going to go through these bins which have not been sorted through or unpacked since we moved across the country. So a lot of these things are things I can just get rid of, and I have now had enough time to separate myself from purchasing these items and from the process of packing and moving that I feel like I should be able to just say, okay, this is trash or this is a donation. And this kind of has something to do with my mindset shift too recently, in that I am wanting to clear the space in this garage, but I wanted to clear some mental space as well and just let things come and go a little easier and not be so attached to, especially things that I buy for my business, because in the end, it doesn't really matter that much. I know I don't want to waste money, and I think that's part of it, but I also am like, okay, I bought this a few years ago when I was starting my reselling journey, and if it was me now at a thrift store, would I buy it? And if the answer is no, I am on the getting rid of train. Also, I didn't want to sit directly on the ground, so I grabbed a little piece of trash, which is cardboard. So, but yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be sorting through some of these bins here and just being even more ruthless. I got rid of bins and bags of things back in Maryland before we moved, just so that I could have more clear space. And I'm even being more ruthless now. I'm just at the point where I have to, because this is kind of going to lead us into kind of the biggest topic that we're going to talk about in today's video. And I think something that a lot of us are facing, maybe it's just me. I don't think it is, but I can get so caught up in watching other people on YouTube or in different aspects, just talking about how amazing this season has been for them in their job, in their career, about how much money they're making, because people like to talk about how well things are going, but we don't often see the people posting on, Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, all these things about how this is a hard season. So it's so easy to compare yourself when you're in that season. And I've talked about this before, is that I want to be super transparent with everyone here in my community. And I'm so appreciative for all of you guys. But I also want to make sure you guys feel seen in that I feel like I am struggling right now. Like, I want to be selling more than I did last month, and I want to be moving things and making sales. And I feel like they are just not coming. And if you are in that same boat, I want you to know that there is somebody on here, somebody in this community reselling and showing it all on YouTube that feels the same way. And you're not alone. If you're not having the best sales month of your entire life, that's okay. We're all gonna have different seasons and different months that are doing well for us. And I also want to say too, like, I feel like I am doing all of the right things. I'm listing. I am having more help than usual with my business. Jeremy's been being super helpful, my husband, and he's been actually like packaging things for me and taking pictures. and just trying to help me with some of the, day-to-day tasks that I don't technically need to be doing. He's been super helpful. Even with all of that extra help, I still feel like I am failing on a daily basis. And I feel like a lot of people who are, self-employed or are doing this as a side hustle or trying to start on YouTube or any of these things, I think it's easy to be down on yourself and to think, oh my gosh, I'm doing terribly. Everyone's just thinking about how bad I'm doing. Or it's easy to be down on yourself and just think that no matter how hard you work, you're not gonna get rewarded for it. I feel like that's the place I'm at right now, where I feel like no matter how hard I work, it's never enough. And I want to remind you that what you're doing right now is more than enough. And the hard work you put into your business is going to be rewarded with time. And that's the hard part about this business, is you can put in hours and hours of work this month and not see any results until 4 months later or something else like that. But I want to just, remind you guys too that it's hard. It is hard. Even if you're doing this part-time, I'm kind of doing this part-time as I do YouTube as well. If you're reselling, if you're running your own business just in general, or if you're doing any kind of venture where you are kind of in charge of your own self, it can be so hard and it can be so lonely, but also just, it can be really difficult to, even when you've had your best month, to not feel a little bit still like you're failing. And maybe that's just me. I hope it's not. I have a feeling it's not. Because there's always more that can be done, right? If you have a 9 to 5 and you are working in a desk job, sometimes you're just like, okay, this is what I have to get done this week. You get it done and that's all you have to do. Like, there's no things weighing in the back of your mind. But I think a lot of us who work for ourselves or have a job that works on commission, or if you're a stay-at-home mom, it feels like the grind never ceases and there's always more that could be done. But at this point too, I'm kind of realizing there's even more that can be done, but doing more doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to be happier. So I've been kind of on this journey where I am, enjoying my time with my family, where I'm enjoying moving across the country. I'm enjoying being able to see my parents on a weekend just for a few hours, even sometimes, because I couldn't do that before. I had to wait, a 12-hour drive to see anybody that I really cared about. And so I'm trying to remember, even if my business isn't doing as amazing as some of the other influencers in this season, I have increased my joy exponentially through doing this business. And all of my work that I put in will be rewarded eventually. As long as I keep on working hard, as long as I keep on studying and learning what brands sell well, if I adjust my strategies, things will get better, And this is all to say, I'm not even doing poorly. It's just sometimes you're fighting that mental battle, and definitely I understand that. I feel that. So I hope that that's an encouragement to somebody out there. But yeah, I also think too that sometimes we get really stuck in wallowing and self-pity, being like, oh my gosh, other people are doing so well and I can't do anything to do that well. When in reality, maybe you just need to switch a few things around. Like maybe you need to start selling on a second platform if you're only on one. Or maybe instead of listing the way you've always listed, maybe you should go and look at somebody else's listings or a closet of an influencer or somebody else here on YouTube that's teaching people how to resell. Maybe you need to go look at their closet and see how they list and try listing the way they do. Like there's so many things that we can do, and I need to remind myself of this as well. But there's so many things we can try. Or if you haven't used a sharing bot, like maybe try that out. Maybe you try a cross-listing app. I use Vendoo, and you guys know I've worked with them in the past. This video is not sponsored by them, but it could be because they do help me cross-list. And so maybe you need to just switch something up. Maybe try going and thrifting a few hours away from where you normally thrift. There's so many options and things that you can do to try to, make your sales better, and a few of them are right there. You can drop some prices in your closet. There's so many things that are disposable that sometimes we overlook and just feel like, no, what I've done has worked before, so it should work again this month. And so I want to remind you guys of that as well. But for those of you who are going into Christmas time, who are in December with me right here, right now, and are feeling like your business is not selling as much as you would like it to, you're not alone. I totally feel it. I feel it so hard. Last month was, I believe, my best month of selling ever. And even during that month, I kind of felt like, wow, I wish I was selling more. So if that indicates anything, it's that we're never truly, satisfied with how we're doing. And sometimes we just need to look back on where we came from too. Sometimes if I really want to ground myself, I think I have to look back more than just the last few months. I have to look back a few years ago to see what I was doing and where I was working. And I was working a 9 to 5 and I absolutely hated it. And I felt so alone. I felt so trapped, and I despised getting up in the morning every day, and I hated going into the job. And that job gave me such bad anxiety that I had to take medication afterward. And I still do, because I couldn't handle that kind of pressure on me to make money for somebody else and to be solely committed to what they wanted. And now I'm owning my own business, and we are able to sustain ourselves, and I make an income for my family by doing something that I love. And I think that we have to focus on those positives. And that's what I'm focusing on today for sure, is that, you know what, maybe I am not making the most money in the world, and maybe I'm not the best reseller on the planet, but I have been learning, I've been growing. And if you're learning and if you're growing, then you guys are doing great too. Even if you're not selling the most money out there, are you selling a little bit more than you did last month? Have you learned something more than you knew last month? Are you investing in your business a little bit more than you did a year ago? There's so many steps to this, and it's not just that astronomical growth that only happens for a few. My astronomical growth, I feel like, is so hard to watch other people go through because, man, that is not the story for the majority of us. I'm thinking even of myself here on YouTube, and I was putting out 3 videos a week for 2 years before I saw a ton of growth at all, and I got lucky with 1 video taking off and doing pretty well. But at 3 years now of putting in the grind all day, every day, and not really seeing that payoff when other people could just post 1 single video on YouTube and get 1 million subscribers, like, at least that's how it felt sometimes. And I just need to remind myself too that as I am making progress, as I keep on putting in the work, as I keep on being consistent with listing, as I keep on being consistent with posting content and sharing my life with people in a way that I feel like matters and has impact, that's not going to go unrewarded. That's going to eventually pay off, even if it takes a couple years. And so if you're in that season too, where you're like, oh my gosh, I started reselling and I literally see no outcome at all right now, switch it up a little bit. But also I'm here to say that if you are putting in that work and you're diligent and you're consistent, then you will see those results eventually. And hopefully that's helpful to you guys, or inspiring at least a little bit, because I know it can be so hard. And if you're even doing this and you're trying to start your YouTube channel and stuff too, y'all, I started right where you are too. I had no subscribers. I had no one in my court. And I was trying my darndest to start this business that I wanted to love and wanted to run. And it took years to really get to where I am now. And not that where I am right now is even that huge. It's just taken a lot of work. And I'm super proud of myself for how hard I've worked for what we have now. And yeah, so now let's look at this garage. She is getting cleaner, which we love. And so right now I have over here all these wicker furniture pieces. We don't even want these pieces, but we don't know where to put them. I think we're going to put them by the side of the road or put it on Facebook Marketplace and advertise that they're going to be free. But all of these things on these benches were bags of clothes from when we moved that I have not looked at. And some of those things were listed, so that's good. Hopefully your guys' spaces aren't even this cluttered or as terrible as mine is at the moment. But even if it is, it'll get better. It will. And just put in the time, put in the effort, and it will pay off eventually. But I hope you guys enjoyed working with me today. And if you guys want to see more work with me videos where I do a voiceover and just kind of get things done with y'all, let me know in the comments. And if you guys are also struggling with feeling like you're doing everything right and yet the sales just aren't coming, then let me know and I'll do my best to help you out as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. I am so grateful for you guys. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And until the next video, bye.